All right, let's welcome him back, Mr. NFL, Aaron Schatz, hardcore NFL guy located in Boston. So I don't know how he's doing after, you know, the Patriots kind of had a rough Super Bowl and then a rough off season. Aaron, how you doing? How you holding up?
Hey, good. Listen, as far as the Patriots go, do you know how amazing it was for them to even get back to the Super Bowl within like 8 years of Brady leaving?
Mm,
That's incredible. They didn't have to win it. Like it was quite a ride
yeah.
just getting back there. So as a fan, I'm happy. And the offseason's been good, and our book is good, and everything's good. I've got a little bit of World Cup fever, not that much, but a little bit. So I'm enjoying all the footballs.
I like how you're so gentle with the Patriots. I believe you were the one who told everybody that they had the easiest schedule in the history of man.
Yeah,
Essentially, they got fortunate. There will be some regression. I am curious. I'm not calling out anybody, but the offseason in New England was a little rocky, if that's an okay word to use.
Yeah,
I don't know
things that we
about.
don't have in our projection system. We do not have a variable for your coach was caught having an affair and has been in the press every day of the off season. Don't
Yeah,
have a variable for that.
that's not built in. Interesting. I'm just curious. Like, obviously, you are very numbers based and it's successful and great. But when something like this happens, obviously you can calculate the AJ Brown factor, but I don't know. Maybe this will be a long forgotten story by September. But I mean, we got paparazzi following Vrabel and his wife around. Aaron, that's
I don't
not normal.
I don't know if he's not going to be as focused as usual because he's worried about things at home, or if all of the press will galvanize the team, kind of like
Mm.
Spygate did in 2007. I mean, not to that
Oh.
extent, but it will bring them together. I would say we have no idea what the effect of the whole Vrabel controversy is going to be on the team.
I think that's a fair assessment. Since we started with the Patriots, AJ Brown, obviously a huge get. His exit in Philly is going to be scrutinized. This is big for Drake May, who was a terrific downfield thrower. He was kind of the wide receiver grouping was solid, but not spectacular. Diggs is gone, another controversial guy. Enter AJ Brown. Do you think this is significant? We'll see. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, Brown can still go deep, and May is an incredible thrower of the deep ball.
Hmm.
He's more of a man beater than Diggs. Diggs was a zone beater. Adding Romeo Dobbs, too, is really good. I mean, they've got a really deep wide receiver group now. One thing I will say, projection wise, is that you tend to lose more when you lose a star receiver than you gain by adding a star receiver. Like adding a star receiver is good, but losing a star receiver is worse than adding a star receiver is good. So I think this is worse for the Eagles than it is good for the Patriots.
Interesting. So let's pivot to the Eagles. Why do you, I mean, is it able to say why this matters? Losing a star receiver?
I think it makes logical sense because you think, if he comes to a new team, first of all, it's a year later, so there may be the player may decline a little bit, but also the player has to learn the system, the player has to learn the quarterback, whereas where you've left, you knew the system, you knew the quarterback, and so there may be more to lose there. Now, that's interesting with Philadelphia because, first of all, the assumption of everybody was that the quarterback and the receiver did not like each other.
Hmm.
And also, they have a brand new system this year. So even if he had stayed, he would have had to learn a new system now that
Hmm.
they're going to run Mannion's Green Bay, sort of Shanahan influenced offense. So I do think losing Brown is bad. You cannot frame this as being good for the Eagles, even with the off field, whether Brown was trouble in the locker room or whatever. I mean, replacing him with whatever Hollywood Brown and Dontavian Wicks and a rookie, even a good rookie, it probably is not a positive for them. Luckily, their defense is still outstanding.
Yeah. Are you not buying the addition by subtraction narrative? I mean, if we're being honest, they had to set up like some kind of positivity bunny in the locker room last year, Aaron. That's
Yeah.
uncharted waters. And they're like, we just need to revamp the wide receiver room. So Makai Lemon was drafted, as you said, Wicks and Hollywood Brown, toss in Elijah Moore. So four of their top five receivers are all brand new guys. Now they do return Goddard, and the offensive line I think is entirely back. Yes,
Yep.
it is. So I don't. You hit on the Sean Mannion question. I think that's the bigger issue for the Eagles, and that's applying around the league. I think we saw 21 new offensive and defensive coordinators. That's a ridiculous number.
And some weird ones too, like Davis Webb taking over play calling in Denver from Peyton. Like Sean Payton is giving up play calling. Like the idea sounds so crazy, and yet that's what he is doing. And I heard a Broncos guy talking about the hope that it might lead to more balance. I think the idea that Sean Payton was too pass heavy is a little silly. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting coordinator movement. I mean, at this point, it feels like, I don't know the actual number, but it feels like half the teams in the league are running a Shanahan-McVay system, which makes sense. Those systems work.
That's interesting. I did not know it was that high. So we've got I forgot about Davis Webb. That's based on reading the reports. It sounds like they were going to lose Davis Webb to another team if they didn't promote him. So that's why Peyton kind of kicked his buddy to the curb, which is dirty. But hey, you got to do what you got to do.
And they're still going to lose him to another team. If he does a good job, he's going to be a head coach somewhere next year.
Probably. So you got Davis Webb in Denver, Mannion in Philly. Declan Doyle is the one I've circled in Baltimore because I don't, we've been grappling with this for months, Aaron. Why are the Baltimore Ravens the highest win total in the NFL? Lamar off the injury, new head coach, new OC. What am I missing here?
Easy schedule. I don't have them meeting that win total. I have them lower than that, but I do have them certainly better than last year. And I think the idea is with health, and people really like Minter, and the idea that Minter's going to really refurbish the defense. Now, what I say about coaching all the time is this. We don't know how good coaches really are when they've been on one team. We have seen Jesse Minter coach one NFL defense. So it's hard to tell what was Minter and what was those defensive players. Now, when a guy's been to 8 different places, like Vic Fangio, you have a sample size of 8 of him turning around defenses. You don't have that with Jesse Minter. So we think Jesse Minter will turn around the Baltimore defense. We think Mike McDaniel will turn around the Chargers offense, but we don't know those things. And my projections tend to be about things that we know rather than things that we want to believe.
Yeah. That's the toughest part of this. I mean, I think there's 10 new head coaches. That's a lot of uncertainty, man.
Yeah. And listen, last year I said this and I was a little wrong, right? One of the things I said last year was I didn't have the Patriots as an above 500 team because we didn't know how good a coach Vrabel really was. We had only seen him coach the Titans. Now we've seen him coach 2 teams. It came out pretty well, but we still don't know with a lot of these coaches how good, even with Harbaugh, after all those years in Baltimore, what we know is that a team that's built by Ozzie Newsome and Eric DaCosta, he can do very well with. What does he do with the Giants? That's a different team.
Interesting. So where are you on the Giants? Are you bullish on the Giants? Bearish?
I'm bearish on the Giants, but they have a story to tell. Right? Okay. Bad teams, there's 2 kinds of bad teams. There's bad teams that have a story to tell, where if, like the Patriots last year, they turned things around, like there's a good story of how that could happen. And then there's teams like the Dolphins that are just disasters. Right? Like there's a story to tell about the Giants. If Dart takes a step forward, if Neighbors comes back healthy, if Harbaugh does improve things, if the defense can be better given how good that pass rush is, that is a team that can make the playoffs. It's not if we come to the end of the season and Miami is in the playoffs, we're all going to be like, what happened? If the Giants or the Titans make the playoffs, even though I don't expect it to happen, it will make logical sense.
Oh, really? So if the Titans make the playoffs in the
Same
NFC,
thing. New coach, young quarterback. Right? Think about what is the recipe for teams to unexpectedly improve? It's usually new coach, young quarterback. That's usually the recipe.
Well, hold on. But Harbaugh's not, well, I guess he's new, but he's a proven entity. Right.
He's an improvement for them.
Robert Saleh had a couple years in New York. We don't know do we know what he is as a head coach?
No, we don't. We have to. Right. We just know that they're bringing everything from New York to Nashville, including Dable and all these Giants players like Wan'Dale Robinson. So, I mean, I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. Tennessee is very low in our projections, and so are the Giants.
Okay.
But if it happens, Like if you look at teams that we have projected badly and you say, where are we most likely to be wrong? The answer is a team with a young quarterback and a new coaching staff.
So I don't like to admit that I'm wrong. Very political of me, but I will say last year I was bullish on the Titans, and I don't think I was wrong because this is the year, Aaron. I wasn't wrong. I was just early. I love Dable. You know, going from a head coach, or sorry, he was an OC and he was lights out, right? Then he goes to a head coach. It's all right, some flashes, and then it petered out. But now him just focusing on offense. Don't you feel like that could be a huge, huge positive for the Titans?
Yes, subjectively, I think Dable is good at his job. I think Saleh, despite the Jets, all the jetsiness, when it came to defense, he was good at his job. He ran good defenses, and I don't feel like he lost the locker room. So, yes, I mean, I think the Titans could be good. Now, listen, Ward was not good last year.
No.
There are lots of reasons why he wasn't good. But you compare him to J.J. McCarthy. This is very interesting to me. J.J. McCarthy's numbers weren't any worse than Cam Ward's.
Really?
The difference is what the film guys saw.
Oh.
Film guys watch Cam Ward and say, okay, I can do this, and he can do this, and he can do this. I've never seen a first-round quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, where in his first year, the film guys watched him and went, he's hopeless.
It's over. Yeah.
It's a completely different, and, film guys know their stuff. That's why guys get drafted early in the draft. So, I have much more hope for Ward than I would for McCarthy. And McCarthy's not going to have the job anyway. Kyler Murray's going to have the job.
Oh, really? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the gambling odds. Let's just go to the Vikings. A lot of new stuff there. Kyler Murray, obviously, being the big piece. I've seen some nonsense where it's like, hey, Kevin O'Connell's on the hot seat. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. That being said, they had Darnold, went 14-3. Move off Darnold, it's a disaster. The GM's out. What did the projections say about the Vikings? I'm assuming you did them with Kyler Murray as a starter.
I did them with Kyler Murray as a starter. I don't think that there is a battle. I think he's the starter. Now, here's the thing. Our projections for the Vikings are very middle of the road because we have their defense regressing. Oh. But we had their defense regressing last year, and it didn't because Brian Flores is awesome. So it's very likely, I think, that we're wrong about their defense because we don't have a Brian Flores is awesome variable, but he is. He's a really good coordinator to prevent the kind of regression that happens when you lose Harrison Smith and Jonathan Greenard. So I think the Vikings are going to be contenders with a better offense and probably not as good a defense, but a good defense. But yeah, as far as O'Connell, it would be like Kevin Stefanski. If they were to get rid of him, he would be hired by another team within a week.
Less than that.
Yeah.
I think teams might fire their own coach, like my Jets, just to get O'Connell. Yeah. Interesting. So, okay, so you've gone through your model and all the numbers in crunch. What was the biggest surprise to you that it spat out, whether it's positive or negative?
There are two of them. The Houston Texans is the best team in the AFC, and that the Arizona Cardinals are not the worst team in the league.
Okay, those are both big surprises to me. First of all, let's go to the Cardinals because nobody talks about them ever. But last I saw, Jacoby Brissett was wanting to get paid. Now I've been on World Cup fever like you. I haven't looked. Maybe Jacoby Brissett doesn't matter, but what is giving them not worst team in the league vibes?
They were 23rd in DVOA last year.
Okay.
With the most injuries of any team in the league.
Whoa, okay.
They also had the hardest schedule, but they have the hardest projected schedule this year. So that doesn't change. But they're not as bad as you think, and they're going to be healthier this year. Yes. I believe their over-under at most books is 3.5.
That's too low.
All they have to do is win 4 of their 11 non-division games to top that. Even if they their division is so good, even if we assume they go 0-6 in the division, they only have to win 4 of their other 11 games. They're going to do it.
Interesting. So, Arizona, they'll be last in the division. Jeremiah Love, I guess, I don't know how your thing handles rookies, but Jeremiah Love's pretty damn good. And, you look at Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, Jeremiah Love, Michael Wilson. They got weapons. They're just a quarterback away on offense.
Yeah, they
right?
don't have the line. Actually, he's going to be Ashton Chanty. It's going to be the same thing. They don't have the line to
The
block for
line,
him.
yeah.
They don't have the line to let him do magical things. That they need another year or two. I mean, they've got some, like, Paris Johnson isn't bad. They've got this new kid, Basantis, I think. If I'm putting him on the right team, I know they.
Yeah, he's a right guard, but I've never
Yeah.
heard of their center. Jati
Yeah,
Froholm.
he's okay. He's there. But the Cardinals are a better team than you think they are. I do not think they are one of the 5 worst teams in the league.
Okay,
Their
before we get to the
schedule is
Texans,
really hard.
let's hear about these 5 worst teams.
We have the 5 worst teams. The surprising one we have really low is the Saints. The system doesn't really buy the improvement in the defense in the second half of last year. And Shuck, the fact is second-round quarterbacks just don't project as good as first-round quarterbacks.
Okay.
But the other teams we have at the bottom are Miami, Vegas, the Jets, and the Browns.
So no major surprises there. Saints, though, people are bullish on them a lot. I'm seeing some playoff wild card projections for the Saints.
That's probably, and listen, in that division, all we have to be is a little bit wrong about the Saints and a little bit wrong about the Buccaneers. And the Saints could go to the playoffs at 9-8. But we have them lower than certainly than conventional wisdom does.
Okay, before we get to the Texans, so let's stay in the division. Atlanta Falcons, do you have on your projections Penix or Tua at quarterback?
Tua.
Whoa. Tua for sure?
No. For the all 17 games, I don't know.
But to start.
Will they go with a healthy Tua over a probably still kind of injured Penix to start the season? I think so.
Interesting. And you don't have Atlanta winning the division?
We have Tampa Bay as our favorite in the division.
Huh.
We have Carolina, then Carolina.
It's oh wow. So you have Tampa, Carolina, Atlanta, and then Saints?
Yes.
Oh my. So yeah, the Tampa, they're kind of off the radar. They're just a dull team. Mike Evans is gone. This Bucky Irving injury. Is he ever going to be healthy again? I don't get it.
I'm not sure, but I mean, the fact is Evans is gone, but they still have Godwin. Ibuka. Part of the problem was that Mayfield was hurt in the second half of the year, which, by the way, they weren't putting on the injury report, so they should totally be getting fined for this. And Ibuka's numbers went down because they couldn't get him the ball with any kind of accuracy. So if Mayfield's healthy, they get the ball to Ibuka with accuracy. They have McMillan. They have Godwin. They have, why am I forgetting the name of
Tez
the new
Johnson?
Kid? No, there's like a third-round pick.
Ted Hurst?
Yes, Ted Hurst. So they've got receivers, and Mayfield should be, Mayfield is an average NFL starter, right? He's not bad. He's not particularly good, but he's not bad.
Okay.
And their defense has some players, and it's just an easy division where every team has an easy schedule.
Okay, now let's get to the Houston Texans, who you have as the best team in the AFC. So let me see if I can, let me just quickly scan my Texans stuff. So they basically did not upgrade at wide receiver. They added.
They're getting Tank Dell back from injury.
Probably. Yeah, but he gets hurt every 5 minutes. Like that's not
reasonable.
David Montgomery. Is he new there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they got David Montgomery. Is the offensive line better? Wyatt Teller.
They improved the offensive line. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it couldn't get any worse. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm assuming this is defensive driven, right?
Well, obviously, but. Can you guess where CJ Stroud ranked in passing DVOA during the regular season?
Well, this must be a trick question. I will go 17th.
11th.
What? Come on.
They had no running game. And he was terrible in the playoffs. Yeah, and we all remember how terrible he was in the playoffs. But in the regular season, if you consider the fact that he was constantly in third and long because they have no running game last year, he was an above average quarterback. And I do think CJ Stroud can be an above average quarterback now that they probably have a running game. And we know, listen, I always talk about offense is easier to predict than defense. But if there's a defense that's easy to predict, it's one where it's not based on scheme. It's based on the fact that these guys are young and just really awesome. And that's the Texans defense. Everybody is young and just really awesome.
Interesting. So to go back to Stroud for a moment, I mean, he was so bad in the playoffs that it was like,
So
do we
bad.
how do we even extend this guy? But how much of that was on the offensive line? Because you said they were constantly in third and long in the regular season. Like, is Wyatt Teller going to make that much of a difference?
It'll make a little bit of a difference, and having a better running back will make a little bit of a difference. And as all listen, with that defense, all they need to be is average on offense to be one of the top contenders in the AFC. And I think they're going to be better than that. I really do. I think they're going to be an above average offense with one of the three best defenses in the league.
I mean, if memory serves, last year they needed some Davis Mills miraculous crap,
Yes,
just to get to the playoffs. There was like a humongous comeback that they needed, and they used that kind of as a springboard. Does that sound about accurate? Davis Mills, middle of the season?
yeah. There were a couple of games where they needed Davis Mills to win games in the middle of the season. It's absolutely true, and I know how people remember Stroud. I was there. I was in Foxborough.
You were at the game? Oh, boy,
yeah. I saw that. I saw how bad he was. Oh yeah, but I mean, some of it is like balls going off Xavier Hutchinson's hands because Xavier Hutchinson shouldn't be his go-to receiver in the playoffs, but he had no Nico Collins, right?
Nico Collins.
I mean, there's explanations for how bad he played in the playoffs, and that's just 2 games. You learn more from the 15 regular season games that he played than you do from the 2 playoff games.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 interceptions in that game. Took 3 sacks. 20 of 47 passes.
Terrible.
Now, there was some rain.
Bad.
It was inclement weather, but, I mean, Drake May was not great in that game. He just had a couple very timely passes. I think Booty, an amazing catch or something like that. Yeah. I do have to ask, as usual, anything on my Jets?
I mean, we have the Jets as one of the worst teams in the league. I don't think the Jets are trying this year. I think the Jets feel very strongly about next year, very much like the Browns. They feel very strongly about next year's quarterback class.
Mm-hmm.
And they've built a team. Now, interestingly, they built a defense that is going to be reasonable.
Okay.
The Jets last year had the lowest takeaways per drive of any team ever. and by like 2%, like they're like 1.7% of drives ended with a takeaway, and like the next worst team ever is like 3.7.
Oh, man.
So you give them the normal amount of interceptions, and then you add the veterans on defense. I think the Jets can have an average or even slightly better than average defense.
Oh, boy.
I'm not a believer that Geno Smith is going to put things back together. So I think their offense is going to be lousy. So the team will be lousy. And that defense will then be a year older. We get to play with a rookie quarterback in 2027.
But the good news is Geno Smith was the quarterback last year that helped the Raiders get the number 1 pick. So now he's going to help the Jets get the number 1 pick, which they need desperately. So he could go back-to-back years,
Not that
right?
desperately, because there's a couple of really good quarterbacks. It's actually probably a pretty good year. I mean, we won't know until after the season. But right now, it looks like a pretty good year to also have the number 2 pick. Maybe the number 3 pick. Like, it doesn't have to be Arch Manning. It could be Dante Moore.
I don't know. We'll see about Dante. I was high on Dante Moore.
Lenore Sellers, right?
Oh gosh, he just walks into sacks. I mean, I don't know if he can get that out of him.
No, that
real
is
quick. I'm gonna name.
Harrington-ish.
Did you say Joey Harrington?
Yeah, Joey Harrington walked into a lot of sacks. He got to the NFL. He didn't have Oregon's offensive line anymore and went kaput.
What an amazing pull. Here are the Jets starting linebackers. Demario Davis, who's I think my age. Sherwood, solid. Kiko Magua, who is that? I'm a Jets fan. Nashawn Wright, who are these guys?
Maui Noah. He's
Maui Noah. Yes.
Of the new offensive tackle from the Giants who went in the first round. So it's actually pronounced Maui Noah.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm not great at
names. Yeah, I understand. But they added a lot of guys like Onyemata and Minka Fitzpatrick, and like when you give them so in general, about 20% of passes defensed will turn into interceptions.
Yeah.
It's not as random as fumble recovery. There is something to the idea that certain guys do have ball skills, but in general, you'll regress to about 20%. If that was the case with the Jets last year, they would have had a dozen interceptions. Like having 0 interceptions was insane. There's no way that happens again.
Why does my team always end up the laughing stock, and your team, the Patriots, are always like everybody loves everything about them?
It's revenge for the 80s and 90s. I've gone back and I've done a ton of work on old play-by-play, and if you watch NFL in the 80s and early 90s, The Jets were good and the Patriots were laughing
That's a
stocks.
good point.
Everything turns around.
All right, last question. Do you have any week one picks yet? No, I mean, I'm
Not
sure
in
you
front
haven't
of
run.
me.
No, no. Okay, fine. We'll go
Colts,
Super Bowl.
actually, I'll give you my week one pick. If Daniel Jones is healthy, I like the Colts to cover against the Ravens.
He's not going to be healthy. Come on.
That's why I said if.
Do you think? I thought he would start on the pup list.
I have no idea what's going on with him, and I don't know what's going on with Mahomes either.
Yeah, I think Mahomes. I ran into Mahomes out here in South Bay, California, and he's making it sound like he's fine. He's ready to go. Now I'm sure he's going to say that
because he wants to be fine. I'm sure he's feeling very confident because NFL players have confidence, and great NFL players have great confidence. But whether he's actually going to be ready, I don't know.
Yeah, fine. Who do you have in the Super Bowl?
The numbers still prefer Seattle.
What?
But subjectively, my pick for the Super Bowl is Rams over Texans.
Interesting. Yeah, Seattle loses their offensive coordinator, which is very difficult for Sam Darnold. That's, I think, 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years for him.
Yeah.
And they, I think, lost 4 other starters, offense and defense combined.
Like the Texans, we expect their defense to still be really good.
Yeah.
And we do think their offense will still be pretty good. So I'm surprised that we still have them above the Rams, but we still have them very slightly. The Rams have a harder schedule. Just has to do with who finished second in different divisions last year. But subjectively, I do think the Rams, I think you have to favor the Rams. That in a big, as good as Seattle is, that in a big game, the team with the stars, provided those stars aren't hurt, I would probably take the Rams and then to beat the Texans in the Super Bowl.
Love it. Aaron Schatz, the FTN Football Almanac 2026. Pretty amazing stuff. He likes the Bengals. I didn't ask about the Bears.
The Bears have the worst projection in the book, one of the top offenses and the worst defense.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, congrats on FTN Fantasy. Obviously, everybody knows his great history with the place that no longer, I think, even operates. But he's got the DVOA, which is must look at every week for gambling. Aaron, thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you during the season.
FTNfantasy.com/almanac. That's where you go to get the PDF version of the almanac, Amazon for the print version.
Amazing. Thank you, Aaron.